1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 boxes. And 5, what is this? What is this, low dollar video games? Get that out of my sight.
Nice shot.
These 13 bags and boxes represent a $25,000 video game collection that I recently, actually just yesterday morning, got way in over my head and purchased all at once. And in this video, we're actually gonna take half a moment and look at it all. We're gonna take a look at some of the most interesting items, talk about hidden gem stuff that you guys should look out for, and I'm gonna try to give my employee Spencer some money if he can prove that he's more than just a foolish schoolboy. If you tell me which of these games is worth the most, you get the $10. Oh, I actually just realized there's one more bin here. What did I say before? 13? It's actually 14 bins because of whatever's in here. I can't, it's too high, I can't see it. But folks, we have a problem. And of course, by we have a problem, I really mean we have 3 problems. The first problem is that Spencer isn't getting here until tomorrow, so you're gonna have to watch me process this first box all by my lonesome. Boring! The second problem is I did not inspect these games as thoroughly as I probably should have, so I'm really hoping we don't encounter any negative surprises like missing games or scratched discs or anything like that. And the third problem is I am almost out of Chipotle chips, which maybe the gravest one of all. Chipotle, for the love of God, please sponsor me. I can be very easily bought with money. So what I'm doing right now is a process called prepping, basically making sure everything in these PS2 stacks is ready to sell on Amazon, which means taking off stickers. It means scrubbing any dirt off of the surfaces. So we got this, apparently got this one for $2 somewhere, Devil May Cry. And then I'm also checking the insides, one, to see if the manual is there, and that will determine which pile I put it in and what condition it's in on Amazon. And also just inspecting the disc. You can see this one looks really excellent, which is great to see. I've had 5 mildly unpleasant surprises just in that these all need to be resurfaced, which when you're buying a large collection, especially from someone who buys a lot from Goodwills and yard sales and stuff, kind of have to expect, but I'll give you an example. This one actually isn't even a 2-disc case, but there are 2 discs in here. So when I tilt it in the light, you guys can kind of see just how scratched up this guy is. It's not the kind of thing that I'm comfortable selling on Amazon in this condition, so we're gonna go ahead and run it through a resurfacer. I'm honestly considering at this point pulling the trigger. Been considering investing in one of these bad boys to significantly cut down the time of resurfacing, but the $7K price tag has been a little bit of a turnoff so far.
You never treat yourself to anything.
Well folks, it's now day 2 of processing our massive video game hoard. I go to open up Jack and Daxter, and what do I find? Ka-chow! A used Cars Band-Aid on the inside. Video game reselling. It's a dirty job. Alright folks, so this whole first bin has now been cleaned and de-stickered and organized and everything. Let me break it all down for you. These guys are all incomplete, missing the manual, but they do have good discs. The games in the bin are basically the start of my trade-in pile, so all of these, their discs may or may not be in good condition, but they're not worth selling individually. These ones out here are worth selling individually, but their discs are in nasty shape, so we're gonna have to put those aside to put them through the old JFJ resurfacer, or maybe the Eco Auto Smart if I decide to get spendy. These bad boys are my favorite stack because they're all prepped and ready to go, worth selling individually, and complete with their manuals. Then finally, these last 4 I just thought were worth mentioning. The Bouncer and Shadows of Destiny were maybe some of the coolest games that I don't know. These were both complete, so that was great to find. They were both in the like $20 to $30 range. I think the most underrated, the best hidden gem, is Need for Speed Most Wanted Black Edition. This one goes for like 25 to 30, but you'd probably think it's more like an $8 game, so I wanted to mention that. And then Radiata Stories takes the cake for most valuable game in this whole bin at around $60+. Eeny, meeny, miny, random IKEA bag. I choose you! This next bag is looking like much more of an eclectic mix. To be sure, we definitely still have some PS2 stuff in here, which is great, but we also have NES, PlayStation 1, Gex, and just a whole bunch of other miscellaneous. We got Wii, we got Wii U. One thing that I don't know if I ever actually mentioned about this collection is that it's pretty much all low to mid-level games, because a lot of the highest end stuff, Austin, the guy that sold me this, had already sold to a different Amazon seller, which I'm not bitter about. I'm not bitter.
I'm not freaking bitter, people.
But that said, I would guess I'm not expecting to find any like $100+ gems in here. It's going to be a lot more just like bread and butter, which is honestly fine with me because I'm not gonna lie, toast is pretty much my favorite food. Oh, and speaking of low to mid-dollar items, here's just a casual little Sega 32X complete in the box. Oh yeah, this thing is in super nice shape, and also it looks like the console itself is in good shape. And what could this be? Are there supposed to be games in here? You guys can let me know. We got maybe a little bonus Star Wars and Mortal Kombat 2 32X little throwing games potentially. But yeah, this guy actually needs to go not just in a separate pile, but in a separate room that we haven't been yet in this video. This guy right back over here is my Whatnot auction box, which you can see is actually getting pretty low, which is a nice thing to see. All of this is going to get auctioned a little bit later today. That's why the box is feeling so low, but that's going to be a great item for the next auction. Okay guys, Spencer actually just got here. He's packing up eBay stuff in the other room, so I'm gonna give him a reseller challenge for money here, but he was actually late today, so I'm gonna make it really hard. All right, Spanky, are you ready to test your reseller knowledge?
No.
What if there's money?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. If you tell me which of these games is worth the most...
There's 6 this time. There were only 3 last time.
You get the $10. Yeah, I told him you were late, so you have more choices.
Ninja 3. I'm gonna count that one out.
Okay.
Call of Duty, no. Director's Cut, I don't like that. Zombie, I'm selling too much zombie. I'm gonna go with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That right there.
Ooh, not a bad guess. That was actually second place.
No.
But you discounted the Director's Cut too early. So all of these are like $10 to $20 games. This one's worth around 60.
Wow.
So we'll be keeping that today.
That's alright. I can handle that.
I'm going to jump!
No!
The funniest thing is I actually included this sealed game to try to throw him off the scent, but he didn't even end up noticing. We'll give him another chance to redeem himself later today. So one thing that I didn't really talk about a lot in the actual purchase video of this entire collection, just because purchasing a large collection is kind of crazy. I am worried about checking conditions and making sure that I'm paying the right amount and looking at everything, is everything here, all that stuff. But as I was driving home, one thing that occurred to me was just how crazy it is, how far this business has come in the last 3.5 years. A lot of you guys might not know, I actually started this business pre-YouTube when Erica, my wife, started law school with $500 that I had saved up from I don't know, random side hustles or birthday, Christmas money, who knows. And I took that $500 to Goodwill, found books to flip on Amazon, and then I went to a yard sale and found some Skylanders and some action figures to flip on eBay. And now 3 years later, here I am specializing in video games, making videos teaching people how to do the same thing, and spending $13,000 on a single collection. I probably didn't make $13,000 for my entire first 6 months of doing resale. It just goes to show you folks, opportunity really is everywhere, and I'm not gonna stop saying it. Man, have you ever been so bored that you actually watched Retro Rick? Cause I definitely haven't. Alright folks, so bag number 2 is done. This stack right here is the ones that are already good and ready to go off to Amazon. This smaller stack down here is just missing manuals or cases or whatever. The NES games, I'm not sure how many of these are gonna go to Amazon or how many will get lotted up on Whatnot. Gex was the only one that needed to be resurfaced, and then these 3 were the hidden gems. Ninja Gaiden 3, this one was sealed, but it's not, honestly. It's still $15. Medal of Honor Heroes 2, this is a $3 game in loose condition, but I'll be able to get 15 after fees on Amazon, so I just wanted to say, look out for your sealed, lower dollar games at your game stores. And finally, our big bolo of this bag is We Play Motion, not to be confused with regular We Play, which is worth $1. This one, especially complete, is worth 25, so it's a good one for you guys to look out for. So all these stacks are now going to get put into my piles to ship off to Amazon. Wanted to say that if any of you guys out there watching are looking to go deeper into the the video game resale world, the best tool that I have to offer you is our video game reseller Discord called the Foot Clan. It's a paid monthly membership that I basically handcrafted to be helpful for people who are either part-time or full-time wanting to resell more video games. It includes a bunch of threads where I'll post games like this We Play Motion that might be helpful for people to look out for at video game stores or pawn shops, and also a bunch of chat threads for people to get advice on the many questions that come up when you're trying to start a resale business. The link to that will be in the description as always. Right now, I've got to get to cleaning the pins of all of these NES games. Honestly, most of them look pretty decent, but I always give them a little clean anyway. Then we'll bag these up and start labeling these and getting them into our listing software. All right, folks, it's day 3 now of going through this massive purchase, and I'm halfway through listing this batch on Amazon. We've got all that stuff, all of this that is like polybagged and stickered. This is what is involved with sending a batch to Amazon. All these stacks as well. I did actually throw some items in there from some other purchases, some other videos that I've done, and the grand total so far is just shy of $3,900 in expected overall value. Then in addition to that, we still have these 2 stacks that are going to be sent off in this batch, as well as these NES games here. And then we just have 11 more bins and bags to go. Let's go try to give Spencer some money, shall we? Alrighty, Spanky, this is the $10 NES game challenge. He's over here just diligently listing some eBay items. So here's the name of the game this time. You only have 3 NES games to pick from: Final Fantasy, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and Battletoads. And if you get the right one that's most valuable, you get the $10. And I will say, I actually had to look these up on Amazon myself, so if you get the right one, you are officially a better reseller than me.
Okay, you know, I'm gonna go with Battletoads because I feel like I remember that one. This has Mike Tyson, which is nice, but probably not super high dollar. This is original Final Fantasy, so I'm having some second thoughts, but I'm gonna land with Battletoads and I'll deal with the consequences.
A fantastic guess. Unfortunately, the consequence is that you lose $10. That honestly might have been my guess too. Believe it or not, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is the $50 game.
He killed me.
Both of the other ones,
other people.
Both of the other ones are actually more like $30. So
probably not super high dollar.
All right, folks, day 4. I'm packing up everything right now to send off to Amazon. From the first bag and box, and the total expected value is north of $5,000. Granted, I think around 1,000 of that was from other purchases, but I just gotta get this all sent out and then do it like 5 more times. These are all the NES games that weren't worth putting on Amazon, and those are the PS2s. They're all gonna get lotted up and sold on Whatnot. Also wanted to share this little bolo with you guys, the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. This thing goes for like $90 on eBay. The sales rank was too high to put it on Amazon, but definitely gonna be listing that guy soon. So this bag right here is honestly one of the ones that I'm most excited about. We've got a bunch of like NES stuff in here. Okay, I did not see these. A whole bunch of Sega Master System games. I guess Spanky loaded those up when I wasn't looking. And then a whole bunch of DS and 3DS stuff in here as well. We've got some Pokemon games, Castlevania, Zelda. This is gonna be power packed. And I guess now is as good a time as any to, ooh, this guy is brand new sealed, Yokai Watch 2 Fleshy Souls. Nice. As good a time as any to give you guys a bit of a business/personal update, because the reality is I'm currently thinking about ways that I can maybe expand the business. Erica and I have decided for the time being to slow down a little bit. I guess it's going to depend on what the market is doing, but we've had a good amount of trouble actually finding a house to buy that's in our price range and in the area that we want. Mario Kart 7 is unfortunately MIA. So I've been thinking about ways that I could potentially take the business outside of the house and have it occupying a little bit less of our personal space. One thing that I've kind of been considering is, believe it or not, actually potentially opening a video game store, which I've always been very slow to seriously consider in the past. We got Zelda Phantom Hourglass class there, just because it's such a substantial increase in what my monthly costs would be of running the business between hiring somebody full-time, which is a huge headache on its own. Dragon Quest VII is an amazing one to find. And then you've also got stuff like security systems and rent and Wi-Fi and utilities and, you know, the random stuff that comes along with owning and operating a physical space. The longer I've been doing this and the longer I've had not only like the YouTube channel, well, not only the regular business, but also a YouTube channel and like some other aspects of the business that I'm juggling, the more I realize how absolutely crucial it is to develop the skill of differentiating between shiny distractions and actual quality opportunities. The reality is, I'm still fairly early on in this. By the way, Monster Hunter Stories is sealed. And the truth is, I'm still not the best at doing that differentiating. Sometimes I think that distractions are great opportunities, and sometimes I'm probably passing up on opportunities because I'm dismissing them as not worth my time. Because at the end of the day, folks, what I love doing most is buying and selling video games and making videos about it. I love showing every day in a different way that opportunity really is everywhere, and if that could be my entire job description, I would love it. And truth be told, recently I think I've been experiencing a little bit of exhaustion, a little bit of weariness in my spirit, not because I don't have what I think is the most amazing job in the world. By the way, Fossil Fighters is a really solid franchise to look out for if you don't know about it already. But because in addition to reselling and the channel, there's also the Discord, and there's sponsorships, and there's a merch line, and a live event, and traveling for conventions, and blah, 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 blah. And I end up doing a lot of stuff during the day that isn't what I actually love most. But when I ask myself, how can I do less of what I don't like and more of what I do like, the problem is the answer almost always involves hiring other people to help me, which equals more responsibility, which I also don't really want. Because a big part of why I love what I do so much is it allows me to kind of have the freedom to run my own thing, but also I don't have the added pressure of knowing that someone else's salary, their lifestyle is dependent on my performance.
Is this a bad time to ask for a raise?
Anyways, folks, I can sense myself starting to word vomit now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Long story short, I'm asking myself in this season what is going to be best for the long-term health of Phoenix Resale. But because I'm still basically a rookie, I mean, I've only been doing this for 3 or 4 years, I really have no idea what that is, so I'll keep you guys posted, I guess. Just open up this Harvest Moon DS and look at this. Ooh, we got a bonus. And ooh, it's a $42 bonus.
Well, at least somebody's getting a bonus.
All right, folks, I got done organizing everything, and I think this batch should end up being a really solid one in terms of value. I organized all of these in terms of condition. So this is the only one that didn't have the game in it, which is nice. We've got a couple cases that are just like generic replacement cases, but that do have the game in them. Both of these were missing manual, and everything else in these stacks was complete, which is pretty amazing. And all these 3DS ones in the back here are actually all still sealed. Ever Oasis definitely being the best one, I believe. Actually, I didn't check Yokai Watch, but this is like a $65 game brand new. And in these stacks, there are a good number of $40+ games, which is amazing. I mean, we've got Castlevanias, we've got Pokemons, a bunch of Dragon Quests in here. And then over on this table, we've got some miscellaneous stuff. So these were the individual games I wanted to highlight for you guys. Fossil Fighters is like $45. Amencham the Ward is, I want to say, like a $50 game. Monster Tale is like $60. This was the biggest surprise to me. Project Zone 2 on the 3DS, worth like $100. This one blew my mind. Puka Power Up, I want to say, is like $50 as well. Dead or Alive is in the $40+ range, I believe. And then Chrono Trigger, I would guess I'll probably be able to get $150 for in this condition. Then we've got all these Master System games. You guys can tell me which one you think is going to be most valuable. I honestly didn't look these up because they all look the same and it kind of bores me. This is another thing that I have no idea what it is. Obviously a reproduction of something. I don't know, is this like a Smash Bros on the Super Nintendo? Did they just use this picture as like a generic one for a game compilation? I have no idea. Harvest Moon, like we said, was a fantastic surprise, and then we also had 3 NES games in this lot. This I know is full of loose cart-only DS and 3DS games, but I intentionally did not open it up. I don't have any idea what's in here. Dragon Ball Z is never a bad thing to find. Okay, we got another copy of Fleshy Souls here on the 3DS. I'm just gonna flip all of these so that we can all take a look at the same time. actually have a lot of really solid higher dollar titles in these stacks. I mean, Chinatown is not bad at all. You got Kirby, you've got Bomberman here, Dreamland, Legend of Legacy, all kinds of good stuff, but the best I put all down here, Fighting Fantasy is like a $60 game. Code of Princess and Devil Survivor also are in the like 30 to 60 range, same with Lunar Nights. Actually, all of these I'm pretty sure are. Tales of the Abyss, Ragnarok, and who could forget? Sesame Street, Elmo's Musical Monsterpiece. I forgot to say, one of the best things about DS games is that you never have to worry about cleaning a resurfacing disc. It was pretty much just, I took some stickers off and they're all just like almost ready to go. Unfortunately, that's not the case with everything. Like this bag that's full of consoles, I've just been procrastinating because not only do they have to be cleaned, they also have to be tested, and I don't wanna. So instead we will explore this box of 360 games, which will be much less work. What do you think of that, Elsie?
Honestly, this video is so long, I'm bored out of my mind.
That's right, they should subscribe to
Pixel Game Squad, it's a great channel.
So as I was going through and prepping all of these, I wasn't actually looking up values, so I'm just gonna share some hidden gems with you guys, rapid fire as I'm listing them, as I'm putting them into this next batch with all of the DS and 3DS and, you know, miscellaneous stuff. Now, as I'm starting to scan these games into my software here, I wanted to talk a little bit about profit. As you guys know, I have $13,000-ish, give or take, into this entire deal. Normally on stuff like this, I offer around 40% of price charting value for everything $10 and over in the collection. But because this collection was so huge in value, I offered him 50% of price charting value. Now, the reason that I often offer closer to 40% is that I'm expecting to pay around 20% in shipping and fees on just about everything that I sell online. But because of just the volume of this collection, I was able to offer a little bit higher. So given I'm paying around 20% in shipping and fees and 50% in cost of goods, I'm looking to make around 30% of the overall value of everything in the collection as my profit, which should put me at about $7,000 to $8,000 for the lot. Now I'm hoping that it ends up being a little bit higher than that, because as you guys know, where I'm listing all of this stuff here is Amazon, and I'm often able to get some pretty solid premiums on there, especially when stuff has the cases in manual. That's why I sort it all out according to condition ahead of time. But just to give you guys an idea of my expectations, that's where I'm hoping it's gonna be. Now, because I've been intermingling some of this stuff with inventory from other purchases, I won't have a super accurate expected profit number in this video, but I'll tell you guys as close as I reasonably can. Death Smiles is worth 60 bucks. Alice Madness Returns goes for about 40, and The Warriors is worth like 50. Day 5 now, by the way. All right, this batch is now done, and the total value again is right around 5,000. And again, it's saying net profit, but I didn't put in my buy cost, so that's not actually profit, that's just overall value. Gamecube! Oof, this Gamecube disc is super scratched. Hopefully it's not too expensive.
Try again.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So we're closing in on the end of day 5 here. I don't have as much time to go through the Gamecube stuff as I'd like, but on the bright side and not so bright side, it's not the hugest section because he already sold off a good number of the higher dollar titles to the other Amazon seller. I'm not bitter about it. I already told you guys, I'm not
Bitter about it. Stop freaking asking.
But a couple worthwhile things to note. We do have a few solid Zelda titles. This one is missing manual. Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition is nice and complete, which is great to see. Also wanted to say the pricing on Naruto games is a little bit strange. Class of Ninja is only like a $10-ish game, but Clash of Ninja 2 goes for like 25. So if you ever see this mispriced for like $5, definitely pick it up. Need for Speed Most Wanted is definitely a good one to get, worth like 30+ bucks. Unfortunately, this one's a little bit beat. The original Donkey Konga isn't really worth a ton because it was a pack-in with the bongos, but if you ever see the sequel, especially complete, it's worth like 20 or 30. All right, so the Gamecube stuff is all prepped now. We've got very good condition stuff here, good condition missing manual here, acceptable with nasty cases here. These 3 need to be resurfaced, and this one is going to Whatnot. And I just unloaded the rest of this lovely bin, and look at all of these N64 games that we have here. This is day 6, by the way. I actually didn't get a good look at all of these when we were originally purchasing them because they were all like scrunched together, but some of the better ones I'm seeing are obviously Banjo-Kazooie, Shadowgate 64 is a great one. Ooh, South Park Rally is not one that I see a whole lot of.
Good.
And I think Toy Story 2 may actually be decent value-wise. But maybe the most interesting part of this whole lot is, check this out, A Fairly Odd Parents Video Now. Have you guys ever heard of this? This is apparently like a Walkman that plays terrible quality videos on the go, and the discs that it plays are like Gamecube size. I've never seen one of these before, but I thought it was super cool. Also, did anyone notice I reorganized my Gamecube shelf up here? Have some more space for games. I'm honestly feeling pretty good about it. Then of course we've got all these Game Boy Advance manuals over here, and on these I'm honestly probably only gonna make $1 million. Just kidding, I'm gonna lot them all up and sell them on Whatnot. So I just got done prepping and cleaning everything that was on this table and wanted to show you guys, unfortunately, we had a couple games here that are indeed missing discs, and also Forza Horizon, and then this one, Dirt on Xbox. Ironically enough, there's some dirt on the disc that I couldn't get off even with my fingernail. This stuff is like embedded in there. And I wanted to show that stuff just to make the point that anytime you're buying large collections like this, you don't 100% know that everything there is going to be in great condition that you expect it, and tested and working and everything. Because when you're buying 25,000 bucks worth of games, you can't possibly inspect thoroughly every single one. So we've had about 5 so far that don't have discs. We've got maybe 15 more or so far that'll need to be resurfaced. And then when I do finally end up selling all this stuff, there also is a percentage of it that I have to expect will get returned as well. I say all of that just to stress that some people, when they hear, oh, you're only paying 40 or 50% of price charting, that's so cheap, you're ripping people off. The reality is there are a lot of costs and unexpected bumps in the road that you have to account for when you're making offers on large purchases like this. And you guys aren't necessarily going to get to see all the stuff that gets returned or isn't working, or a buyer tries to scam me or whatever. Also, I wanted to share this Xbox Predator Concrete Jungle is worth like 40 bucks in complete condition, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. All right, folks, I think at long last it may finally be time to check out this bag of handhelds. Well, folks, this bin has been a very pleasant surprise. This is one that I didn't get a ton into when we were over buying the collection, but unloading all this stuff, there's a ton of really good Game Boy items. Like we've got, starting in this corner, Pokemon Pinball, NES Classics, Metroid. Got a couple of Kirby games here. A Game Boy Advance video cartridge, which is always cool to find. Here are some of the higher dollar gems here. A couple copies of Zelda 4 Swords, 2 Breath of Fires, a Dragon Ball game, Zelda Oracle of Ages, Pokemon Soul Silver, and here are all the handhelds themselves, 3 Glacier Game Boy Advances, some PSPs, and a nice Dandelion Game Boy Color. And then it just keeps going. Look at all these gems over here, folks, and we also have a random stack of PS2 stuff as well. Now, this is one that I just could not make heads or tails of. This copy of Contra Advance on the GBA, the whole cartridge looks good, but the label itself looks terrible. I don't know if this was just a bad print or if it's not an authentic cartridge. You guys can let me know in the comments if you have some idea. I'll have to do a little bit more research on this guy.
Oh, it's a fake, you idiot!
This is actually kind of crazy. Brotherhood of Steel on PS2, worth like 70 bucks. Also, I mentioned South Park Rally earlier, having no idea the lowest copy on Amazon is $50? So folks, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news for you. The bad news is the longer I make this video, the more I realize I'm not going to be able to finish this video, or at least finish the entire shed's worth of inventory in this video, because the reality is I have other videos to make, and making this video while I'm processing all these games makes processing them take twice as long. But the good news is this is day 7, which means it's Friday, which means Spanky's back. All right, Spencer, you ready for your third and final challenge?
Wow, I can see the cash value and I'm scared.
So we're raising the stakes a little bit, $25 on the line for this, and it's themed. We've got 4 N64 games, Lego Racer, Star Wars Racer, Mickey Speedway USA, and South Park Rally. Pick the correct racing game and you get $25.
Oh man, the whole video game expected value is upside down from what I think. I always thought Lego, just because it's Lego, would be awesome, but apparently those don't sell great. I know people love Star Wars, so that's a possibility. People also love South Park, so that's obviously a possibility. Oh my gosh, it's rated M. Oh, that's not family friendly. I'm gonna take Star Wars out and say it's between these two. Mickey Speedway USA. I'm ultimately gonna go with Mickey Speedway USA. I'm gonna say there's a chance this game is legendary.
He has made his decision, Mickey Speedway USA. I will say this. Your final two were probably the first and last most valuable. And the most valuable is... South Park Rally.
I knew
You were
it.
so close, man. You were so close.
I had it.
But as a little consolation prize, you get to keep the $5
Wow.
to pay for therapy after you read the comments on this YouTube video, because I have a feeling they'd be nice to him, folks. So folks, if you remember, I spent $13,000 on everything that was in this shed, and it's interesting because the total value of the stuff that I have listed so far is almost exactly $13K, which means that everything remaining in this bin, this bag, these bags, and these bins will be all of our expected profit. And even though at this moment I don't know what the total value is here, by the time it's edited, editor Riff can actually tell you what I made on everything here. Riff, you want to jump in?
In the exact words of Caleb, and I quote, he says, we're looking in the realm of 8 to 10K conservatively.
And folks, with that, we are going to end this video just like we started it, in a messy shed full of video games. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all on the flip.